National Wake-Up Call, Gold Frees Humanity from Debt Slavery. Wednesday, March 25, 2020. Intrinsic worthless debt money is currency. The current private Federal Reserve central bank debt money system is a manipulated scheme to let the insiders steal from the outsiders. They control the nominal paper value of our currency, which isn't money in the first place, lie about what is really going on, steal wealth from savers and workers, filling their own pockets, and pay stolen money to their zombie bank friends. That's the way it has always been and is supposed to stay on forever. But thanks to the interventions of President Trump and his patriots, they now are on the defensive. They do not wish their actions being revealed to the public and being informed about the triad of Wall Street, Big Oil, and Big Pharma. They undertake everything to conceal their objectives. They want to change the public perception and rework the course of the world into the new world order as they had envisioned for centuries. Money is simply a medium of exchange and must have the appropriate characteristics to be a medium of exchange by unit measure and a store of value. But today's money is nothing else than currencies, as it doesn't match those criteria. People are forced to use this worthless money as it is nothing else than currency made out of nothing. Designed to steal, swindle, and bribe everyone at will. Real money is based on natural characteristics, such as the fact that it is intrinsically valuable, durable, divisible, uniform, portable, scarce, and broadly accepted. These characteristics are essential for a medium of exchange to become an honest standard of widely accepted payment, which isn't the case with central banks' currencies. To the opposite, gold has always been valuable, as debt is someone else's burden, with unreliable promises attached that could end up not being honored. Money backed by debt is a crime against humanity. It is a Mayer Rothschild invention, built on the fact that money is a flow of energy, actually a currency, that is generated from raw materials, goods, and services, in which labor is the key to all activity on Earth. In order to achieve a monopoly over all the energy on Earth, the Rothschilds developed worldwide a slave labor system by issuing debt money through their privately owned central bank system that has infiltrated every government. This energy flow creates for them a powerful first strike opportunity in the field of financial and economic control. Through their control over the flow of energy, money, and bribing all governments, they are enabled to fleece all the outsiders of their valuable energy output, only benefiting the insiders. Money created out of nothing, backed by debt, should not be allowed to purchase valuables, as it is plain fraud. But as long the illusion is kept alive, debt money has value, and we the sheeple believe in this fantasy, this fraud will continue. Crisis and market crashes are made to happen. The central banks are deliberately making the economy worse instead of improving it. That is the reason all central banks have simultaneously dropped interest rates to zero, while the EU and Japan went into negative territory during the 12 years following the 2007-08 crisis. Applying quantitative easing (QE) is a sophisticated name for money printing and other liquidity enhancers. Simply put, they are printing far more money than the economy justifies. Among others, to buying shares and bonds to keep pumping more liquidity into the economy, while the credit cycle has turned into negative territory. Stock market crashes don't just happen, those are made to happen. All is systematically manipulated by the deep state crime cabal to stealing the real wealth of the world. During a boom, many more people get into debt, and then at the most opportune moment, the major banksters, in a coordinated act, raise or lower interest rates and start to recall outstanding loans. As the money for interest payment is not issued, there will be massive loan defaults. Then the underlying collateral for the loan can be confiscated, being the bank's compensation for their not-existing losses, as the loan has been made of worthless digits on a screen. Altogether, this is the hidden construct to stealing people's real wealth. By issuing fake money and fake credit, they purposely have compromised the immune system of the economy. The only way to keep this scam going is to add massive doses of more fake money and fake credit. The central banks rule and manipulate the financial system to their advantage. It is going from one extreme to the next by taking unfathomable measures, such as negative interest rates on over 20 trillions of bonds around the world, the monetization of debt, and bond purchases of a staggering 80 billion euros a month in the EU. They have violated every principle of sound money policy and sustainable financing that mankind has ever learned about. They have taken us to the edge and are out of ammunition. As uncertainty rises, so does the price of gold. Gold is viewed as a safe haven investment when it competes with stocks and bonds for investor attention. As of now, gold is assuming its role as the most stable long-term form of money the world has ever known. Everyone should be buying gold and silver, as many wise people already are doing. It is seen in the price for gold going higher despite the massive intervention from the manipulators to pushing these prices lower. Think about when stocks continue to fall, gold will fall less. And if stocks go up, on the other hand, it will be because the central banks have pushed them up with more phony money. Then, gold will go up even more. And that is the reason why real money and the fake stuff are moving farther and farther apart. As uncertainty rises, so does the price of gold. The world money system is based on the creation of money out of nothing, something that doesn't exist, and lending it to governments, people, and businesses with interest attached. Even worse, it is money that is created out of debt, essentially, debt money. However, debt is the opposite of money, factually, a claim of money on an unfulfilled payment called debt. In other words, bogus money. The central banks make debt into an asset of wealth resulting from bribes, as they have illegally obtained the legal right to hold debt on their balance sheets as an asset, whereas the little people like you and me must hold debt as a compulsory liability. Read this sentence again till the committed fraud is fully understood. This is the essentiality why banks can steal from the people. This money scam makes us debt slaves. Only gold and silver are waterproof and indestructible in today's sea of worthless paper debt currencies. Government debt is exploding. Most countries are bankrupt. Central banks are bankrupt but print money in unprecedented quantities. But that will not be sufficient to save bankrupt nations, whether it is Japan, Greece, Spain, France, Italy, Portugal, or bankrupt Italian and German banks with balance sheets lumbered with billions of toxic assets and with only one buyer being the ECB or the Fed. Both the European Central Bank and the Bank of Japan, and now the Fed too, have been buying up billions of dollars of bonds every month. In fact, they're buying up so much that they're quickly running out of eligible bonds to buy. This could be making stimulus-addicted markets nervous. Cash generation is slowing, and that is going to be a problem for servicing the existing debt. There is so much debt that it can't be paid off. That is the problem, already over the years many times explained in FWC articles. Once the credit markets break, food and other stuff distribution will not happen, and then it is credit game over. Their plunge protection team is not only trying to prop up the stock market but also to suppressing gold and silver prices. They don't want people getting the idea that their safe haven is in physical gold and silver. In other words, they try to steer investment away from gold and silver by smashing it with paper contracts, also called artificial gold made out of thin air. Think about it, the first stage of a major debt crisis is deflationary. Prices fall, companies go broke, people get laid off. Investors typically rush to the safety of treasury bonds, resulting in higher prices as prices for corporate and junk bonds are going down. But then comes the next stage, inflation. When the central banks are pumping in new money in the trillions, as is happening now. And that's the cause why T bonds are going down. Why? Because the only way central banks can fight a downturn is by issuing more fake money. More bonds. More quantitative easing, QE. More dollars, euros, yen. More stimulus. More deficits. More repo madness. Sooner or later, all this new, fake money drives down the value of money itself, and so go bonds. The global currency reset is approaching. Eventually, the unpayable debt will drive the price of precious metals to stratospheric heights, that is for sure. Be alert and buy precious metals before it is too late. To bring to mind, the heydays of debt-backed fiat currencies are over. The world is moving toward money redeemable for fixed amounts of gold. Gold is real money. It is the very best money. It is the only money that has stood the test of time during more than 5,000 years. The global paradigm shift is in full swing. The global currency reset is approaching, more precise described as the return of the gold standard. Human nature being what it is, at some point people will rush into gold, causing the price of gold to go into an unimaginably high territory until it eventually reaches multiples of its present artificially suppressed low price denominated in fiat currencies. Corona Crime Crisis Update. 3 patriots formed a secret group of 10 very rich, intelligent, and powerful billionaires. They were worried about losing America to foreign regimes through fascist forces. That is why they formed a secret alliance, loyal to the flag and Constitution of America. They were all personally acquainted with members of the deep state and obtained first-hand knowledge over their plans. They found out who the manufacturer of the C virus is and secretly changed it so that it would be incredibly weak. Then, they proceeded to go through all of the same, military-style precautions that would have happened naturally and organically, being carefully step-by-step examining each new situation. Instead of millions of people actually dying, they decided to use the cover of the virus to arrest worldwide all of the Luciferian and satanic leaders. With the advantage that the deep state operatives still think and believe they are in control of this crisis. This period, when everyone is quarantined at home and cannot travel, is used to arrest thousands of DS puppets all over the globe. Possibly not all can be arrested, but maybe all of the richest and most powerful 160,000 of these criminals could be captured. That would leave the many of lower-level Satanists without leaders and without a structured organization, being no longer effective DS operators. The lab-engineered novel coronavirus pandemic is originally a deep state invention, patented in 2007, and is the cover story for their mandatory vaccination agenda to culling the vast majority of the world population. That starts with the issuing of a digital certificate to those who have been tested for the coronavirus. This evil idea has been cleverly converted by Trump team in the largest covert U.S. intelligence operation the world has ever seen. To act in accordance with the over 160,000 arrests capturing and removing leading criminal and corrupt politicians, celebrities, and CEOs, including global elites and bankers such as George Soros, UN officials, among with the Rothschild and Rockefeller criminals. Creating the opportunity for the alliance to discreetly implementing the GESARA agenda, with the worldwide reset staring off the transition from the existing financial system into the QFS, and make the changeover from the central bank economy into the people economy. In short, the outbreak of the C virus is a deep state cabal-initiated operation to reducing the world population according Agenda 2030. But President Trump and the Patriots knew already far in advance, actually from its inception, about this evil operation and turned it in an opportunity to implement GESARA and ending the central bank system. Assuring the deep state is stripped of their most admired powerful tool. Redemption of currencies in the new financial system, QFS, are now likely to happen soon. The so-called pandemic that ensued was originally meant to be a combination of a biological and electromagnetic warfare retaliatory attack on China. Although the attack deceptively caused mass casualties in Wuhan, it failed to intimidate or bow the Chinese people. The long list of celebrities and first ladies coming out to announce they allegedly have COVID-19 is nothing more than a cover. Far too many, in fact. It's absolutely ludicrous, considering that they never frequent the subway or mingle with the unwashed and the deplorable. The list included over 157 people, which doesn't compute with the true statistics of non-celebrities diagnosed with it. What is really going on is a global slave revolt against ancient satanic bloodline ruling families who are now being systematically hunted down by special forces, according to intel sources. Resulting that ancient bloodline families, the Rothschilds and Rockefellers included, are trying to negotiate their surrender. Italy is apparently under U.S. military protection while the country is in lockdown mode. Its army chief succumbed to coronavirus infection, and the Vatican is cleansed of gays, Satanists, and pedophiles. The Italian airports have been shut down, as over 80 Vatican and financial officials have been served the criminal indictments for financial crimes, pedophilia, child trafficking, and sexual abuse. Some other religious leaders will be arrested or forced to resign, and some will suddenly get sick. The Pope will be removed in 2020. The United Arab Emirates have completed mass arrests of their own royal family and affiliates. There are now 37,000 more U.S. troops in Europe on top of the 320,000 troops already present. These are understood of engaging in arrests of deep state assets in Switzerland, Brussels, Antwerp, Berlin, Paris, Amsterdam, and London. Since Friday, the 6th of March, there have been 2,200 or more arrests made of global elites. Convicted Hollywood rapist Harvey Weinstein agreed to a deal in exchange for his testimony over some of the biggest and most powerful celebrities, including Prince Andrew of the UK, former Presidents Bill Clinton and Obama, former Vice President Joe Biden, and Hillary Clinton, for their involvement in the drug business, pedophilia, and child trafficking. Even so, Jeffrey Epstein received in exchange for his testimony his faked suicide in prison, as has been the case with former President Bush Sr. and Senator McCain. Many CEOs of major world corporations have been indicted or arrested, and some have been forced to resign over the last 2 months. It has since become known that on March 22nd, EU chief Angela Merkel is quarantined with coronavirus, in other words, being arrested. Meanwhile, other intel reports show that the original mass arrest plan is no longer in force. Arrests may still occur here and there, but are only made for show. The plan now is for the higher cabal puppets plain mass executions, as they don't deserve the opportunity to being tried, as they have had ample time in the past to change their mind, but used this time to push their agenda forward. Their game has ended at this point. Be supportive and share this important intel information and financial explanation with all your contacts and motivate them to do the same with theirs. Many will be grateful for this eye-opener, understanding the background of this sea crisis and the need for their quarantine, as this is the beginning of the new road to our real freedom. Undo, redo.